Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Very
We
good.
can
So
hear
let me
you
just,
loud and clear. Please go on.
okay, good. So thank you very much for inviting me to this very interesting topical meeting. So I will be talking about a very specific issue, namely double bottom tetraquarks and the production, decays, and lifetimes. So this is the program, the points that I would like to discuss. A short introduction, then the spectroscopy of doubly heavy tetraquarks, and then production cross-sections at the LHC, the inclusive decay widths, lifetimes, some representative examples of exclusive weak decays, and then an idea about how to look for them in semi-inclusive decays through detached B sub C vertices, and then finally the outlook. So the idea that there could be heavy multi-quark states which are stable against strong interaction actually is an old idea, and already discussed, I mean, in papers starting from 1982 and onwards, and there are some representative papers which I read, and I'm sure there are more. So this idea is rather old, but the real impetus came in this field, I should say, through the discovery of the double charmed baryon, XICC++, which has the quark content CCU, which was discovered by LHCb in 2017. And more recently, the double charm tetraquark TCC+, which has the quantum number, which has the color, the quark content CCU bar D bar, which actually was discovered last year. And this has evoked, these two have evoked a lot of theoretical and phenomenological interest. In particular, it's I mean, quite natural to think that with the discovery of double charm baryon and double charm tetraquarks, also the double bottom baryons and double bottom tetraquarks will be discovered. So the talk is dedicated about those expectations and their anticipated properties. I should also mention that, in fact, heavy quark and heavy diquark symmetry relates, as I will show in the picture in the cartoon, singly heavy mesons with anti-baryons and doubly heavy baryons and tetraquarks. So let me just show this discovery plot of the XICC++ by LHCb. I think in this audience, I don't have to emphasize the details. This has been discussed several times. And this is what has interested a lot of people. And since then, a large number of theoretical proposals have been put forward. Also, I mean, its interpretation, which is still an ongoing debate, which was evident, which is also evident at this meeting. Now, the idea about heavy quark, heavy diquark symmetry actually is central in this field. And the idea is the following, that if you have a singly heavy mesons, a heavy quark, and a light anti-quark, such as B meson, B plus or B0 meson, then since quark has a quantum number, is a color triplet, and a diquark, Q bar, then also is an anti-triplet. So since the light degrees of freedom in these two hadrons are the same, and the color quantum number of the heavy quark and the heavy anti-diquark are the same, Therefore, there is a symmetry between these two hadrons, and perhaps the properties of one can be guessed, or at least can be related to those of the others. Now, of course, one should also emphasize, and this is important, that this is an idealized picture. I mean, if the quarks, in this case, if the antiquarks are very heavy, and then one can assume a static approximation, and this picture becomes actually quite close to reality. But of course, if these quarks are not that heavy, then this approximation may not be a very good approximation. Nevertheless, bottom is the heaviest quark whose phenomenology can be studied in the form of hadrons. So if there is any place that these ideas of heavy quark, heavy diquark symmetry could be applied, then it is in the bottom sector. So of course, motivated by this, there have been several spectroscopic studies using constituent quark models. And then there are estimates which are based on the heavy quark diquark symmetry by S.C. Eischen and Chris Quigg. And there have been some further development on this in which the diquark size effects are also calculated by Mark Weiss and collaborator. And then there are a series of spectroscopic studies using lattice QCD with increasing improved approximation. And I will discuss a couple of them in this talk. So this is a summary of the masses. What is being plotted here is the binding energy for the spin 1 doubly heavy tetraquark. This picture taken from this paper by these authors. And so you see, this is, if you wish, this horizontal line indicates the respective thresholds. And the tetraquarks with a quantum number of UD, B bar, and US, B bar, they are, in these studies, are expected to lie below the threshold, and hence, in all likelihood, they will decay weakly. So this picture elaborates in somewhat more detail what is the idea between of a diquark as a dynamical degree of freedom. So this picture, which is taken from paper by Bikudo et al., is as follows. So at very short B bar distances, when they are almost overlapping or very close to each other, the interaction between them is Coulomb-like, given by one gluon exchange. But as they move apart, so at large, as the distance between these B bar and B bar increases, so at large B bar separation, the light quark which are present, UD in this case, they screen the interaction, and the four quarks form two rather weakly interacting B star mesons. So they're using this picture and von Oppenheimer potential. These people calculated, but the next paper is actually what is written by these authors, is what I find very instructive. So this has the title, The Importance of Meson and Diquark, Anti-Diquark Creation Operators for a B bar UD tetraquark. And in this study, which is done on the lattice, they have studied the question that in this double bottom tetraquark, which has the quantum number of J parity 1+, how much is the diquark anti-diquark configuration present, and how much is the meson-meson configuration present. So this is done by studying two set of operators. One, this operator, which is called here OBB, with the Dirac structure represented by this gamma. So this operator creates two B mesons. So and then there is a diquark anti-diquark operator, which is denoted here by OTD with the Dirac structure gamma. So this is then a diquark operator. So this is what they have studied, in the static approximation. And so here is the result, typical result of this study, namely what is plotted here is, if you wish, the probability of finding probability of whether the meson-meson configuration dominates or the diquark anti-diquark configuration dominates. So this is the diquark anti-diquark configuration, and this one is the meson-meson configuration. So what this study says that for the doubly bottom tetraquark, for the distance between them less than a quarter of a Fermi, that means in this part of this diagram, it's the diquark anti-diquark configuration which dominates. Now, of course, this can be improved, and I'm sure that further studies along these lines will come. But at least it says that there is a prima facie case, in fact, a proof on the lattice that it is sensible to talk about diquark configurations, and hence it's sensible to look for them in an experiment. So, so this is the summary of what I have just said, and this is the object of interest for us. So we are interested, in these doubly bottom tetraquarks, which have the ground state JP is 1+, and there are three of them, namely one which is the light quark is without strangeness, U bar D bar, and then there are two which have a strange quark in them. So so D S bar as is the configuration of the light degrees of freedom, and in this case U bar S bar, and this is a cartoon in which represents at least part of the configuration, in which we would like to find them. Now, so now I turn to the phenomenology. Sorry. So to find such doubly bottom tetraquarks or doubly bottom hadrons in general, we require the production of a large BB bar data set. So now this is only possible at the LHC at present and in the future. At the Terra Z factory, which is being contemplated both at CERN and in China. They go under the name of FCC and CEPC. And the topology of interest, which I will show you in somewhat more detail, is a double bottom jet. So with a small jet radius, one can use various definitions. Here is one which is used in the experiments. So this is, of course, an uncharted experimental configuration. And the typical topology, as I will show, is actually, since we start from BB bar, and these two BBs have to end up in a jet. So the typical topology is a 3-jet event, a doubly BTEC 3-jet events. So that is where one should look for them. And I should mention that, in fact, the first studies of the splitting of gluon into BB bar, this is actually what is involved in the production of this state. This has been measured, but not in the form where the final hadrons are tetraquarks, but where they are doubly epsilon 1s state. This has been measured by Atlas in 2019. So in fact, the starting point is the underlying perturbative process is the same. It is simply that the fragmentation, is different in the case of doubly bottom tetraquarks and epsilon 1s states. So this is the underlying perturbative process. So you produce in gluon. I will be talking mostly about the LSC. So this is the process at the LSC. At the Z factory or Terra Z factory, of course, is a decay of Z into BB bar, which is the process of interest. So in this case, this is the starting point, and one can calculate next to leading order diagrams. They have been calculated. In fact, the one program which we have used to calculate these cross sections goes by the name of MedGraph. So MedGraph next to leading order is the software technology used in this, and this is the configuration I was talking about. So these two be so to look for a jet which is started or which has two B quarks in it. And of course, the other two is B bar. This is the only process which can produce them. And so this is the cross-section at the LSC at 13 TeV is about 460 nanobarn. So, and this is the configuration of the invariant mass of this BB bar, of this BB. So you see, since the B has a mass of about 5 GeV, it starts about 10 and goes up to 80 GeV. Or maybe goes a little bit further, but this is the typical invariant mass distribution of this. Now, of course, when the invariant mass is very large, then this is not the topology which will be seen in the experiment. In that case, a BB with an invariant mass of 50, 60, 70, 80 GeV will appear as two jets. And therefore, it will be a 4-jet process. And there is no possibility of finding a doubly bottom tetraquark or doubly bottom baryon in such configuration. Therefore, the invariant mass of interest is actually in the lower part. In the lower part, when these two B's are collinear, and the relative velocity between the two B's is small. So that is in this plot is the area of low MBB. In this low MBB, we are in some sense are in a situation where these lattice QCD estimates how much diquark is present and how much open BB mesons are present. Could be a good guide. So this is the topology. So 3-jet events. B bar. You can say WB text. 3-jet events having a low invariant mass of the BB is the place where one has to look at. Now, we have calculated this, and in this we have made use of another process in which two heavy quarks are present, namely the production and decay of B sub C plus minus. So the proton goes into BB bar, CC bar. So it's a very similar process to this one, in which you replace one BB bar with CC bar. So, and then this has been measured actually. LSCB is a factory for measuring B sub C plus minus, they have thousands of them, and they have been measured, and the production cross-section and branching ratios have been measured, so this is what is used to calibrate, in some sense, the calculation that we have done. So we use this, and then using this, this gives an idea. I mean, well, the idea is that the cross-section has been measured, and we reproduce this cross-section by using this invariant mass thing. So we use it to put a cut or determine the value of delta M, up to which point we should integrate to get this cross-section which has been measured. So this is the idea. And then we use the same delta M to estimate the production of the BB, hadrons, let's say. So they will be mostly, of three kinds, namely tetraquarks with double bottom, baryons with double bottom, and perhaps also, to a small extent, also open B mesons. So this is the total cross-section with the invariant mass cut. The invariant mass is chosen such that we reproduce the B sub C cross-section. So this, then the next idea is how much of this cross-section really goes into double bottom tetraquarks. So that is actually a question of fragmentation, if you wish, because the two main processes are the production of tetraquarks and the production of doubly bottom baryons, and there are, of course, several of them depending on the light quarks which are present in the jet. So this here we have used this quark, heavy diquark symmetry. Namely, we have assumed that this process of how much of this doubly bottom hadron goes into doubly bottom tetraquark and doubly bottom baryon should follow more or less this fragmentation of a B quark into a lambda B, or a B quark turning into a B meson. So this has been measured by LHCb, and this is what we have used to calculate the PT distribution and the fragmentation. And the end result is that assuming this heavy diquark heavy quark symmetry and the data from LHCb, this is our estimate for the cross-section. So typically about 3 nanobarns for producing this JP equal to 1 plus. Now, of course, it's an inclusive process in the sense, inclusive cross-section in the sense that it is, if there are excited ones present and they decay into this, they are all included in this. So it is, if you wish, an inclusive production of this tetraquark at LHC, given these kinematic conditions in which LHCb measures. And so if you replace this D quark with an S quark, you expect that the cross-section will be about a quarter of that, and the production of the doubly bottom baryon will be about 2.5 times. So these are all numbers which are based on the measurement of the fragmentation properties of lambda B and B plus and B0 by LHCb. So this is the cross-section. So it's now about the inclusive decay widths and the lifetimes of these doubly bottom tetraquarks. Actually, it's calculated exactly the same way that the inclusive decay width of a bottom hadron, singly bottom hadron, that means B plus or B0 or lambda B, are calculated. And it is it is done exactly the same way. The only difference is, so this is the transition operator, which is defined here, and this is its expansion using heavy quark expansion, and the operator product expansion, and heavy quark expansion of this time-ordered product. This is this transition matrix element which is present. Now, of course, it's a series. There are power corrections which involves matrix elements which are, can only be guessed from singly bottom meson decays. But if you keep just the leading term, then this is this matrix element which enters here of BB bar sandwiched between doubly bottom tetraquarks is just this is counts the total number of bottom nests, and this is just 2. So in other words, the decay width is of the doubly bottom tetraquarks, inclusive decay widths in this approximation, namely neglecting these power corrections, but they are very small. We know them from B decays. They don't make up more than 5%. So then it is twice the decay width of singly B hadron, and hence the lifetime is a half. So it's about 800 femtoseconds. So that is okay. Now, so it's a long-lived particle. So this actually is quite an advantage. Now, of course, to measure its mass, we have to study or measure it in exclusive process, in exclusive decays. So, for example, so the weak Hamiltonian is the same weak Hamiltonian which we know from weak decays of the bottom quark. So, and charm quark. So here is a diagram. So this will produce, for example, an anti-proton, an Xi BC 0. This will produce an anti-lambda C and omega BC. Now, of course, none of these mixed heavy baryons have been seen. So there is a long way to go. Nevertheless, this is one of the decay modes of these, and we have calculated, let's say, estimated the branching ratio, which is based on these measured branching ratio of the singly B0 to D plus pi minus and D plus DS minus. And here the idea is simply that that these decays here you can get from this diagram if you consider this B and one of these U bar as spectator quarks, then you get this decay. So in this spectator approximation, we expect that also these decays here will have the same branching ratios. But the problem is, of course, the problem is that we have to construct these Xi BC meson, which requires a lot of, very small branching ratio, and hence the total branching ratio is really small. Now, of course, you can also look at decays which involves J psi K0 B minus, for example, or K minus B0 bar. So these branching ratios we estimate is based on this singly B decay into J psi K0 bar, which has been measured. We expect that these branching ratio are of the same order. But of course, that means order 10 to the minus 3. But we have to once again construct B from its decay products, which has a small branching ratio. So the cumulative branching ratio is not more than 10 to the minus 6. So this is yet more example of these decays. But an idea which has come from Tim Gershon and
Ahmed, you have 2 minutes.
Yes, okay. I am almost ending. So this idea, which is from Tim Gauchon and collaborators, actually could be the first hint, I would say, of the presence of doubly bottom tetraquarks as well as doubly bottom baryons. So the idea is very neat, and it is that in these doubly bottom hadrons, so this X could be a diquark, or a light diquark or light quark. A B quark decays into a C and C bar S, and this C bar then combines with this B and makes a B sub C. Now, as I was telling you in the beginning, LSCB has a huge data set for B sub C. But all of these B sub C, which they have measured so far, are prompt B sub C. They are produced in a strong interaction process. Now, the topology of this B sub C is different because I was telling you a minute ago that the lifetime of these tetraquarks or doubly heavy baryon actually is about 800 femtosecond. So these are B sub C which have a detached vertex. And this is how this is a telltale signature of doubly bottom baryons and doubly bottom tetraquarks. So here is this picture which you can see. The primary vertex, then this doubly bottom tetraquark or baryon travels and then decays, and you have a B sub C which you can find in its characteristic decay modes. So these are estimates which have been done. All these inputs that you require to calculate the number of events that you can see with the present luminosity at LCB. You expect about order 100 detached mu plus, mu minus, pi minus, which are coming from B sub C. Of course, the yield at Atlas and CMS is much larger, but if they look at this configuration of detached B sub Cs. And now, of course, the new run is starting where, in LHC run 3 and 4, LSCB luminosity is expected to be 50 inverse femtobarn, and you can expect that factor of 5 to 6 more such detached mu plus, mu minus, pi minus events will be seen. So let me just summarize that there is a great potential of finding these doubly bottom tetraquarks and doubly bottom baryons. And the place is LHC, and in particular, all 3 experiments, LHCb, Atlas, and CMS, can find them. Thank you. So,
thank you, Ahmed, for the nice talk. Now it's time for questions. Let's see if somebody's raising the hand. I see Christoph has a question. Christoph,
yes,
please.
Hi, Ahmed. Thank you very much for this very nice talk. I have a question to page 6, please.
Okay, so I have to see how to go to page 6.
Well, I can already ask my question. Probably don't even need the picture for that. You were alluding to this quark-diquark symmetry. And this is actually obviously an approximate treatment. Therefore, one would ask for the accuracy of it. And naively, I would guess that the expansion parameter is something like the size of the diquark over the size of the hadron. But that would give me lambda QCD over MQV, which is not necessarily a small parameter. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I take this picture, which is a lattice QCD calculation of the diquark configuration on the tetraquark with well-defined quantum numbers, and of the B2B mesons. So this is a question of how far apart they are. What is the size, of these hadrons? Okay. So definitely, when the two B quarks are very close to each other, then this idealized configuration, namely in which we talk about heavy diquarks should apply. And of course, when they are moving apart, then you are right. In that case, the Bs, pick up the antiquark and become mesons. And this is pictured here in terms of this distance between the two B quarks. When it goes above 0.3 for me, then very probably, in all likelihood, that configuration will dominate. So I think this is a better picture, which is because it is, lattice QCD is as close as you can guess to the real dynamics of what's going on. So I would
not argue that lattice is as close to QCD as one may wish. The problem I have with this analysis, and I already had intense discussions with Mark Wagner about this, but we couldn't come to a consensus. The problem I have with this interpretation is that the wave functions they are using here, the interpolators, are not orthogonal. Therefore, I have a problem with interpreting this plot.
Well, it's as I said, that if you have a system of two B quarks and two light quarks, it's a legitimate question to ask. If any part of the wave function, is there a possibility of finding diquark configuration? I think this is a valid question, and I think we can discuss about various technical details. What potential one should use and so on. I would say that this is kind of a proof that these Coulomb-like configurations, which we are after, are present, though not completely, when the heavy diquarks are separate, not in that case, but when the heavy diquarks are close, then definitely. This is the most logical interpretation of that. This is the question they are asking. And therefore, I would say if this does not turn out to be the case, then the case of diquark as a dynamical degree of freedom is weak.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Are there further questions for Ali? Actually gave a lot of input. I see, Claudia.
Yes,
Claudia?
there is Biplap before me.
Biplap.
Probably we might have this similar comments. So I'm not an expert on this, but if I remember correctly, there seems to be better prospects for TBC than double beauty. So yes, even for exclusive modes, so that might be, but it needs full run 4 even probably. The double beauty is really difficult. But
yes. Yes, thank you for the comment. This indeed is the case because first of all, the cross section for this mixed B sub C is much higher, and so because the perturbative process is BB bar CC bar. And therefore, the cross section is much higher. Now, the question is whether these mixed tetraquarks with B and C quarks, whether they will decay weakly or not. Now, the present estimates are that they are on the borderline. So they may decay weakly, but they may decay strongly. But you are right. In this case, one has to actually not construct two B mesons, the decay products of two B quarks, but the decay products of one B quark and one charm. And now charm has a much higher branching ratio. So you are absolutely right that on the way to discovering these WB tetraquarks, the mixed tetraquarks and the mixed baryons should be found. And this is certainly correct.
So I had basically the same question. So if you search for TBC, probably you cannot use the handle of the lifetime, but you can exploit a much larger yield.
In that case, it's not clear whether they will decay weekly, because if they decay
even if
strongly,
they do not decay weekly,
they, of course, they have very, very, very short lifetime, typical strong interaction. So the idea is, the search strategies probably will be different. So if the masses lie above, the threshold, then they will decay as bound states or resonances. Decaying strongly, and one has to look for them. As DB resonances, but the lifetime will be very, very short. So the strategy of finding them and the ones double bottom hadrons are very different. And it depends. So in fact, only experiment can decide, if you really find, it's quite conceivable that they just lie below the threshold, in which case they will, in all probability, decay weekly. And in that case, their lifetimes will also be small. The lifetimes will be, somewhere in between the charm and bottom, okay? So it will be, right.
Thank you all. Then now it's time for the second talk. We can ask you